Okay, let's get started. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending today's webinar, Introducing the NCA Cloud. My name is Tom Gobel. I'm the President and CEO of Network Computing Architects. We're pleased you could attend today. So, at this time, I'd like to ask everybody to mute their phones or silence any reminder mode on their phones to improve the audio quality and kind of to respect today's speakers. Thank you, and we appreciate that. So we all hear about it. Today in the workplace, conversations are cropping up more and more around CapEx versus OpEx. And related to that, how do you budget? How do you plan appropriately? And when you're looking at new budget periods coming up, it's a real different view, and it's a real change in how organizations have to consider IT and IT spending. So what should you be thinking about? What should you be considering? So organizations large and small, they're wondering what they should be doing to prepare themselves around CapEx and OpEx and the massive change that we're experiencing in business and how technology is being delivered. We're finding that folks are looking outside their businesses more and more for experienced and trusted outside opinions more than ever, and looking for folks that can come in and share experiences with like companies and offer opportunities for them to learn from others. So the changes are having a big impact on corporate culture. We're seeing that now. Are the different departments within your businesses aligned? Are they aligned with cloud interest and adoption? Are they aligned at the same pace? Are some folks taking initiatives on their own that aren't sponsored by IT? So right now, on top of that, many, if not all, the vendors that we represent and that we look to and that we watch are delivering applications, both large and small, from a viable, reliable method kind of delivered from the cloud, so pushing apps out of the cloud. So a big part of thinking about cloud and cloud migration, one of the topics we're going to talk about today is information security and securing the cloud. We're going to talk about some of the importance in migration strategies we're finding is how your internal data is structured or classified. There's a thing called data grading now where if your data is classified as an A, it's a critical app, probably not going to leave your business, but if it's a D and you keep it around for regulatory compliance reasons, you might want to consider categorizing that and moving it out to the cloud, reducing your overall data landscape internally. So today we're delighted to bring a presentation that's going to be easy to understand, and we hope that it'll give you a chance to think about whether or not you're on the right track, and also things to consider about what your first steps might be. So we realize it's a journey, and what we're seeing is it gets easier. And as you adopt some cloud strategies and you see how well they go and how predictable they are, you'll end up looking at more ways to bring your business into the cloud. So today I'd like to introduce the speakers, Margie Lynn, who's the Channel Sales Manager at CenturyLink, Sergio Panetta, who's the Director of Partner Enablement and Go-to-Market Strategies for CenturyLink, Oswaldo Hernandez, who is the NCA Cloud Services Manager, and Mason Elliott, who's the Manager of Cloud Partner Engagement at CenturyLink. So they'll be talking to you about the cloud today and in the coming years and things to consider and also benefits of cloud adoption. And at the end of the presentation today, we'll be giving away 5 gift certificates through a drawing. We'll talk about more about that at the end. So thank you, and I'd like to hand it over to Margie.
Thank you, Tom. This is Margie Lynn, Channel Sales Manager with CenturyLink. I've had the pleasure of working with NCA for several years, and NCA has actually been a valued CenturyLink partner since 1998. Their relationship with CenturyLink lets them capitalize on all the advantages that come with being associated with the nation's 3rd largest communications carrier. Currently, NCA serves over 600 CenturyLink business customers of all sizes. NCA is well-staffed with sales, technical, and project management personnel who are experienced in our full range of offerings, cloud, data, voice, co-location, as well as managed services. The partner program at CenturyLink, CenturyLink Channel Alliance, is recognized for its growth and stability and is consistently named one of the top channel programs in the industry. NCA and CenturyLink work together to help you capitalize on technology trends, satisfy your company's complex requirements, and put you ahead of your competition. And next, we'll hear from Sergio, who's going to kick off today's webinar focused on the partnership and what CenturyLink and NCA are building together for you.
Thanks, Margie. So before I start, I thought I'd give you just a quick overview of CenturyLink as an organization. So CenturyLink grew up in the telecom space and historically has grown over the years through acquisition, and most recently has acquired a number of technologies focused much more in the IT space. Specifically around cloud, CenturyLink has historically offered co-location services. We have a really solid network, and then we currently offer managed services as well. Today's discussion really is about the partnership between NCA and CenturyLink focused around cloud and how cloud can help address some of the business requirements you have as they relate to this rapidly evolving technology environment we're all experiencing. In addition to the technologies that we currently offer, CenturyLink has 57 data centers around the world. We have a highly secure T1 network. We have a depth of its engineers that are really focused on supporting, maintaining, and innovating on the platform. We offer storage solutions and a number of other services and solutions that we'll delve a little bit into in today's presentation, specifically, again, focused on cloud. So with that, let me go ahead and now just kick off the presentation. In 2015, Gartner did their annual CEO survey, and what they normally do is they poll CEOs every year. And in 2015, the surveys that data that they collected from the CEOs really pointed to one theme, and it's really all about digital. It's not a surprise. Digital technologies are very much at the forefront of so many organizations on a professional level as well as even on a personal level. And so CEOs are having to take a step back to really understand how digital technologies are influencing and impacting their business. Some of the feedback they shared with Gartner this year revolved around the shift in revenue from perhaps their traditional modes of revenue generation to a digital platform that will grow and will continue to grow to generate revenue for organizations. That has huge implications for business models, and CEOs are very much articulating that their business models are going to have to get evolved and also in certain cases reinvented. Because digital technologies create so many new opportunities, that also creates a lot of foresight and thinking around how do you protect the digital assets that organizations are embracing and deploying. So it's not a surprise that security bubbles up to the top of the list for CEOs. This notion of Internet of Things is an interesting one. I think it's still very much in its infancy state. But it's not a surprise. We are starting to see the Internet penetrate so many different products and services. Automobiles is a classic case. You may be aware that Audi is testing and has received quite a bit of press on testing driverless cars. Well, all of that is possible because of this technology that we call cloud that we'll talk a little bit about later. CEOs are still focused on doing long-range planning, and then this whole notion of artificial intelligence and what role AI will play in helping to transform businesses and also to grow their businesses, and more importantly, how the resources, the people resources that are being used today are redeployed as AI gains broader and broader adoption. So this has huge implications internally for an organization. You know, if you look at whether you're a CEO or CIO or Chief Marketing Officer, Chief Financial Officer, you have your own sphere, and your sphere will include budget, your own team. You'll need to be thinking about how digital technologies influence or impact your organization, and what does that mean from a security perspective, and how do you need to protect those assets, as I referenced earlier. You need to be thinking about an enterprise roadmap from a technology perspective, because as many organizations embrace the digital technologies, they need to better understand where this technology is going and how it's evolving. There's no question that digital technologies will have an impact on company financials. They will also influence in a huge way how organizations think about their human resources and how to best utilize them to maximize value from their employees. Then there's the notion of existing legacy. Many organizations, small, mid-market, enterprise, have invested heavily in traditional technology, so they need to sort of take a step back and ask themselves, what does all this mean for them? And then ultimately, and probably the most important audience that organizations need to be thinking about is, what does all of this mean for their customers? And as customers embrace technologies and push technologies to the fore, how are organizations best prepared to integrate their value and their services with these new technologies that their customers are adopting? So if you double click on that sort of sphere, and you were specifically focused on one audience, which is the CIO, there's no question that CIOs look at the landscape and see a myriad of technologies at their doorstep. At the same time, they also agree that they just do not have the human capital to be able to manage, evaluate, support, deploy, and maintain all of the technologies that are coming their way. And so with that being said, there's at the same time business imperatives that need to be addressed. And they really revolve around two broad themes. It's about optimizing the core technology within an organization, and how is that technology used to increase agility. So you've got this huge wave of digital technologies. You've got CIOs that are really, quite frankly, feeling very overwhelmed, but yet they still have to be able to support and grow the business. So what does all this mean at the end of the day? It means at the end of the day that there are resources now that organizations are looking at to help them address this rapidly evolving business world that they live in. And so it's no surprise then that many organizations see cloud as a key strategic asset and vehicle for helping them address and manage the wave of digital technologies that are coming their way, and at the same time address their key business requirements. And so when you look at organizations that say that half their IT spend is going toward the cloud, it's less of a surprise now than it was maybe 2 or 3 years ago. Examples of where customers see the need for integrating cloud in their environment, you can see here on this slide. It's around protecting their data. It's about hosting websites. It's about developing the next generation application. It's about moving commodity applications out of a data center because it just is no longer economically feasible. It's about better understanding how to make use of voluminous amounts of data that these very digital technologies are creating. And for certain organizations, it's about developing custom applications that might historically have been developed in a client-server environment for a specific use case or industry, manufacturing, healthcare, perhaps financial services, or other lines of businesses that require very specific requirements to develop these applications. And so customers are seeing the need to want to move these to be able to take advantage of the latest innovations in the cloud. So why are customers moving to cloud? This is what our CenturyLink customers are telling us. They're moving to cloud for 3 reasons. It's about improving business agility. It's about reducing the cost of managing and maintaining a rapidly evolving and a very complicated IT environment. And it's about better supporting the business. At the end of the day, this is what organizations are looking to help cloud have them do. And this has got to be done in partnership with their existing environment. When you think about cloud, you have to really be thinking about, how does cloud fit into my existing environment today? And what we are calling this next sort of wave of adoption of cloud is, we're calling it hybrid IT. Why are we calling it hybrid IT? Because there are many organizations, as I mentioned earlier, that have invested very heavily in building out their data centers and aren't about necessarily to just leave that behind. They still need to be able to take advantage of those investments. But that being said, they are looking to cloud to help them identify and understand what makes sense to move applications or workloads away from their data center that just aren't economically feasible or practical anymore to support, and move those into the cloud. And that's essentially what we're calling hybrid IT, this notion of coexistence between a physical environment and the virtual environment. With a partner like NCA, they're in a great position to be able to help our customers and you take a step back and really assess and evaluate what makes sense that should stay in a physical environment in the existing data center, and what makes business sense to move off of the data center into the cloud. And so when you think of a hybrid IT, let's now transition and talk a little bit about where's the role of CenturyLink Cloud in hybrid IT. We sort of think of it as one solution. We think of it as an environment and a platform for an IT organization as well as for a developer. And so the way to think about CenturyLink Cloud and the NCA Cloud, which is powered by CenturyLink, is really around three broad themes. It's a platform that enables customers to take advantage of the latest innovations but keeps the customer in control. It enables the customer to be able to take advantage of all the capabilities available in managing a virtual environment, and at the same time helping organizations drive agility. And that agility is realized through geographic reach. It's realized through automation. And with a partner like NCA, they're, again, as I mentioned, in a great position to help you sort of think through what capabilities of the platform make most sense for you so that you are in control. You have better visibility over how to manage those resources, and most importantly, you become more agile. To highlight very briefly some of the capabilities of CenturyLink Cloud, a couple of things. One, this product was architected from the enterprise right from the get-go. So if you're a small company or a mid-market organization, you will get all the benefits of a product that was developed and designed and continues to be supported and evolved for the enterprise. So all the capabilities that are built in are available to you. We offer advanced IT management and flexibility. And again, there's a lot here that's available to you. And with a partner like NCA, it's really important, again, to have that discussion to first and foremost understand, where do you want to see cloud help achieve those business drivers, those business imperatives of helping you become more agile and at the same time get your organization to operate more efficiently. I talked a little bit about geographic diversity. CenturyLink Cloud has 57 data centers. We are in the cloud platform is in 13 of those, and we are growing. And so for those organizations that need to do business outside of the United States or North America, you have that capability. And NCA has access to these resources so that those of you that need your data stored close by where you do business, whether that be Europe, Asia, or North America, the partnership between NCA and CenturyLink can help you deploy the resources you need so that you, at the end of the day, as I mentioned, can become more agile, but still maintain that control, and ultimately the flexibility to decide what resources to use and where to use them. That being said, the cloud is highly, highly innovative space. And so it's incumbent upon a company like CenturyLink to continually innovate on the platform. And how are we doing that? Just last week, we made 3 major announcements. We announced support for bare metal. Bare metal, in a sense, gives customers a highly secure, private environment that allows them to pay by the hour. So customers have access to dedicated hardware, and the way this service works is exactly in the same way that a public cloud would work. You pay for the services only when you use them, and you shut them down when you don't need them. We offer a mobile application for iOS and Android that allows organizations to access the portal, the NCA Cloud portal, that will enable them to very quickly see and monitor how their virtual resources are performing. We just launched AppFog V2, which is based on Cloud Foundry, which very quickly and very easily allows a developer to provision a development environment within a few hours so that the developer focuses on writing the application, testing the application, and potentially hosting the application if it makes sense. We also offer some new services, which I'll touch on briefly right now. We offer database as a service, and the whole idea behind there is if developers need access to a database, to do some analytics, or to write an application that requires low latency, high performance access to a database, we can do that. If a customer at the same time also needs to be able to protect that data through a disaster recovery implementation, we offer that as well, all within our platform. Everything is built in. So what that means, if you're an IT administrator, or if you work in the IT organization, or you're a developer, you have one interface upon which you can take advantage of all these capabilities. But we're not stopping there. We have APIs that we are making available to a number of partners that they can then access our platform and innovate on the platform. We have a set of blueprint partners, and blueprints are all about helping customers rapidly deploy an application or set up a development environment very, very quickly at very, very low cost. And so we have enlisted, and a number of partners have collaborated with CenturyLink to take advantage of our platform so that customers and partners like NCA can evaluate these blueprints and see if they can help you address your business needs. And then we've got some add-on partners that are also developing web services, taking advantage of our AppFog environment as well as our infrastructure services. This is a brief list of the partners that are innovating on our platform at the API level and creating web services. And this is a list of our blueprint partners, and this list is growing every week. There are more and more partners, industry partners, that see the value of CenturyLink and the ease of its use and the flexibility of being able to scale up or scale out resources, that they are innovating on our platform. And at the end of the day, what that means for you, the customer, is that you can take advantage of not just what CenturyLink brings to the table, but what NCA brings to the table, and then what other partners are doing as well. When you take a step back and you see all the innovations that CenturyLink is doing and how we are partnering with the industry, Gartner looks at us and says, you guys are really pushing the envelope. And so they've recognized us a year ago as visionaries in the Magic Quadrant. And in May of 2015, we saw that recognition again. And what that says is that Gartner views us as a major player in the cloud infrastructure arena. But as I mentioned earlier, we're way more than that. We really are innovating to become a much more complete environment that offers a tremendous amount of flexibility for customers to be able to pick and choose what works best for them. Here's a quick summary of where our customers are currently using CenturyLink Cloud, and here is a quick summary by industry as well. Again, it's not a surprise that big data is listed here because we offer sustained high performance with our virtual servers. So that sustained high performance means that customers can take advantage, for example, in the financial services industry, that need access to high-performing services consistently to be able to do extensive analysis with the data that they are collecting. At the same time, we offer a very easy path for migrating legacy apps or migrating off-the-shelf apps. And so what we're seeing is a number of different customers across a variety of industries see the value of the platform and so therefore are moving a number of their workloads to CenturyLink Cloud. Our customers are telling us that we perform at a very high level. We are more reliable. We can scale very effectively, and we are much easier to use. These are customers that have evaluated and have used other cloud platforms. When they see ours, this is what they're telling us. Sets us apart from others. This is just a brief quote from a customer who is a computer hardware company, and they saw CenturyLink Cloud as helping to enable that transformation that they are undergoing. They highlight that cost was important, but it's really how they do business and how they operate that is where they are seeing the true value from CenturyLink Cloud. When you think of time to value, this is a large enterprise aerospace company. For them, it was all about time to value or time to market. Yes, it's about cost, but more importantly, it's about how can they better service their customer or their key stakeholders. And if CenturyLink is enabling that rapid acceleration of time to value, that's worth a lot to them. When you think of sort of hard numbers, at the end of the day, how does this translate into dollars and cents? 25 cents out of every dollar now spent on IT is saved by organizations that can be redeployed elsewhere. This is what CenturyLink Cloud and the partnership with NCA can now bring to you. From a productivity standpoint, customers are seeing a 10% gain in productivity. Again, as IT increasingly becomes more of a strategic business asset for organizations, these gains start to matter even more because the IT organization now can play a more strategic role in helping to influence how IT shapes business strategy and helps the company grow and become more agile and responsive to competitive factors or to customer needs. Lastly, now I want to transition over to Oswaldo Hernandez, who's going to talk a little bit about the partnership and what they offer to our customers, to our joint customers. And so at this point, I'll just turn it over to you, Oswaldo.
Thank you, Sergio, and thank you everyone for joining us today. So we've talked about the wonderful platform that the CenturyLink Cloud is and how NCA is leveraging that platform to bring cloud to our customers. But where does NCA fit into the big picture? What do we have to bring to the table? We came up with a comprehensive solution to give you a winning cloud strategy. And what we did is we combined our existing IT services, professional services to get you to the cloud, and managed services to maintain your cloud infrastructure once you are migrated to the cloud. And then we have, of course, the NCA Cloud powered by CenturyLink. And these are all centered around security, which is our main differentiator. And I'll be going into these in detail in my next slides. So, of course, we have security. We understand that security is a big concern when it comes to moving your data to the cloud. You're moving it outside of your network, so it's expected for you to have these concerns. So in addition to NCA's security standards and practices, we have leveraged CenturyLink's security framework to bring you a more secure solution. Those are just a few of the things that we have available within the portal to further secure cloud. From an account perspective, we have role-based authentication for access, so you can delegate access to your employees based on the role. If you have an IT employee, you can delegate access to just to specific servers. If you have a network engineer, they can only access the network aspect of the portal. So there's 8 different roles that you can assign to your engineers based on their, or to your employees based on the role. Then we have automated API credential management. We have multi-factor authentication. We can actually integrate the portal with your Active Directory domain and use RSA for two-factor authentication to add an extra layer of security to your portal. Then we have self-service auditable activity logs. So anything you do within the portal is tracked in a log that you can track and you can audit for accountability. From a network security perspective, all networks are private by default. So we have private VLANs to segment your network. Self-service ACL functionality, so you can actually go in there and limit traffic to certain IPs on specific ports. This is all self-service and very easy to use from within the portal. We have self-service VPN. It's actually very, very simple to set up a site-to-site VPN tunnel. Within a matter of minutes, you have a tunnel working. Of course, there's the other side of the equation, but on the CenturyLink portal, it's just very intuitive, very easy to set up. And then we have a tiered high availability Juniper SRX firewalls protecting the perimeter of the cloud infrastructure, and these are running UTM technology. They have built-in IDS and IDP, and they're scanning the network core. From a physical security perspective, of course, we know that CenturyLink has state-of-the-art data centers with the most stringent security measures. So all physical data centers are Uptime Institute Tier 3 facilities. They all have physical security audited at SSA 16 and at ISO 27001 standards. And of course, NCA is also ISO 27001 certified, and we do have an internal ISMS team to ensure security compliance. And then we have NCA professional services. So do you have a cloud strategy? Do you know how you're going to get to the cloud? A lot of companies haven't thought about this. A lot of companies don't have a strategy. So NCA is there to assist you, planning a successful strategy into the cloud. So we will do everything from the planning to the consulting to the implementation of your strategy. And like Sergio was saying, hybrid IT is becoming very commonplace. It's actually a migration path into the cloud, so it's becoming very common for you to have your on-premise infrastructure coupled with the cloud infrastructure and those connected via a VPN tunnel. So this is actually something that we can actually plan you, or help you plan, I'm sorry. We can help you virtualize your production servers. And like I said, we can help you integrate the NCA Cloud with your local network through VPN tunnels. That's again, networking, site-to-site VPNs. We have carrier services to help you with run optimization so that your link to the cloud is, very reliable. We also talked about disaster recovery as a service. It's a new feature that CenturyLink is offering, and we can help you plan around that. So if you want to use the cloud as a disaster recovery solution or business continuity, we can also help you plan that. Data classification, so we can help you classify your data so that you know what you want to put on the cloud and what you want to keep on-premise. Then we have security assessments and penetration testing. These are just additional services that we offer to ensure that your cloud infrastructure is secure and up to standards. Then we have IT managed services. So once we move your infrastructure to the cloud, what happens next? So IT managed services is going to help you maintain your cloud infrastructure on a day-to-day basis. We offer proactive server management, 24/7 monitoring of uptime, resources, and system health on all VMs on the cloud. We have a monitoring agent that is installed on each VM that communicates back to our monitoring server and alerts us of any problems with servers. We have 24/7 NOC support, so at any time you can contact us for support. Any issues with your servers, any issues with your cloud infrastructure, we are there to support you. 1 hour SLA response. we will get to your ticket, to your issue within 1 hour. Patch management, we will also make sure that your servers are patched and up to date. Problem remediation, again, anything that comes up with your servers or your cloud infrastructure, we will remediate. And then we also have monthly reporting and QBR meetings. So we provide monthly reports on patches, issues that came up throughout the month, and QBR meetings to keep that personal touch with our customers and make sure that they're satisfied with our services and they can provide feedback on what we can be doing better to support them. And we have our newest offering, NCA Managed Cloud. So if you want to completely outsource your cloud infrastructure, you don't want to deal with additional infrastructure, we can also help you manage your cloud portal for you. So any moves, have some changes within the portal, we can take care of for you. Server provisioning, decommissioning, resource scaling if you need to add resources, CPU, RAM, or disk to any server, we can do that for you. And also included is 24/7 uptime monitoring of all VMs, VLAN management, VPN management. We can generate VPN tunnels. We can, whether it's clients or site-to-site. And then we have ACO management as well. If you want to limit traffic into your servers to specific IPs on specific ports, we can manage that for you. Policy management, there's policies for alerting and resource auto-scaling. We can configure those for you. And then there's multi-factor authentication, which I already talked about. So as many of you guys know, Windows Server 2003 is end of life as of July 14, 2015. And this, of course, represents a huge security risk for a lot of organizations. Windows or Microsoft is releasing patches, so if a new vulnerability comes out, your servers are exposed. So it threatens security compliance. It's just a huge risk. So NCA can help with our cloud strategy solution. We can help you migrate off of your 2003 servers into the cloud, and then help you maintain those servers once you're upgraded. So here's just a few stats to show you the reality that we're in. 60% of businesses are still running Windows Server 2003, and 70% of those are planning to migrate into the cloud or into a virtual environment, which is the trend that we've been discussing. And it's gained a lot of momentum in the past few years. So now we're going to do a short demo of our NCA Cloud portal, just to showcase a few of the main functionalities. And Mason's going to be doing that for us.
While you set that up, Mason, do you have any comments around?
Yeah, so what we're going to be showing is the NCA Cloud powered by CenturyLink. And it'll be a fairly high-level overview of the platform, just so you can see the management capabilities, the differentiators that we have. And so we'll keep it fairly, as I mentioned, fairly high-level. So, again, my name is Mason Elliott with CenturyLink, and what you're looking at here is a first look at the NCA Cloud. So the first page that you look at when you log into the NCA Cloud is you're looking at the dashboard that we have available here. And what I'm actually going to do real quick is I'm going to go into another demo platform that we have set up here. So what you're looking at right now is really a roll-up of all the resources that we have provisioned within the NCA Cloud. So one of the first things that you'll notice is the billing and cost transparency. So you'll see we can easily pull up the dashboard and we can see what our monthly costs are to date, what our estimated costs are, and how much we're paying per hour. So everything is billed by the hour. You only pay for what you use. When you're not using it, you don't pay for it. We can easily see how many resources we have provisioned, how many servers, CPU, memory, and we can see the 2 data centers there. We got one currently active in Sterling, Virginia, and one in Seattle, Washington. Another key area that I like to point out is that we give you a tremendous amount of insight into the activity and what's actually going on within your account. So organizations have a lot of compliance needs, and they need to be able to do auditing and track what's been done, so you don't have rogue users that go in and create servers, build out infrastructure that you have no insight into what's going on. So everything that's ever done within this platform is logged right here, as you'll see. So you can go back to the entire life of your account, and you'll be able to see when a server is provisioned, you'll be able to see what was done, you'll be able to see how many resources were provisioned, and you can also export all this information as well to save that for any type of auditing requirements that you might have. As was mentioned before, we have 13 data centers that you can deploy within. So I'll highlight those here in a moment. But 13 data centers that you can deploy within the United States, within Canada, within the UK, Germany, as well as Singapore. So this gives you a global footprint, really, at a moment's notice. So you have the ability to deploy applications in any of these data centers, and you have complete control and flexibility how those data centers interact with each other as well. Each data center is paired to another in-country data center, so organizations that have very sensitive compliance needs around data sovereignty, all that's taken care of for you. So for example, if you need to be in the Vancouver data center, that data center would be paired to Toronto, so that if you're doing any kind of replication or backups between data centers, it's all within country, so we meet a lot of those sensitive data sovereignty concerns. You'll see on the left-hand side here, we've got our data centers that are highlighted. Again, those 13 data centers, these can be deployed at any time. You can deploy servers within each of these. You can deploy infrastructure within all of these. We can easily see as we go into, we'll pick the Seattle data center here. There it is. You can see that we can pull up a server by a group level. So what we're looking at here is we're looking at this default group, which is really a folder view, so to speak, so that you can put servers in folders which allow you to manage them at a group level. So if you need to do updates across servers, you no longer have to go into each individual server to do those updates. You can update entire groups. If you're doing patching, software updates, all at a group level. So why is that important? Well, that saves you a lot of time and money having to go in and manage each server individually. Instead, you can do that at a group level. So it frees up your internal staff to be able to be more efficient in the way that they manage and update their infrastructure. As we click down through into the actual server view here, what we're looking at is the current state of this server that we have in the Seattle data center. So we can see, all the basic information that we would need as far as on the right-hand side here, type of operating system that's deployed. We support both Windows, all the Linux distributions, Red Hat as well. So we can see exactly what kind of OS we're running. We can see the IP address for this server. We can add public IPs if we need. And we can also see when this server was created. So a tremendous amount of just information around the buildup of this server and really the type of utilization it has. So we have the ability to see how many CPUs and memory are deployed at any given time. And we also have metrics here that show the history of those resources and whether or not they've stayed consistent across a certain period of time or if they've increased or decreased. Another thing that I also like to point out, as was mentioned before, our billing transparency follows us as we navigate throughout the portal. So at this individual server level view, I can see exactly what this server is costing me at any given time. So this is fantastic, and this is a big differentiator for NCA Cloud compared to other platforms you may have seen, because often you do not have that level of transparency within your billing. Organizations will deploy infrastructure. They really have no understanding of what it might cost them at the end of the month until they get that invoice. So you always know what's going on within your platform, and even before you deploy this server, as I'll highlight here in a moment, you can see what it will cost you far before it's deployed. So for budgeting for projects and in complex infrastructure environments, you always have an understanding of what that's going to cost. So before I jump into actually showing you how easy it is to create a server, a couple of things that I want to highlight from this drop-down menu here. We have these categorized in in about 5 different categories here. So first one being servers. This gives us easy access to go in, deploy servers, view servers that we currently have, and to update, edit those servers. We can also go in and we can set up policies for those servers, so doing things like putting an auto-scale policy in place. That will allow us to automatically scale up the resources on a server without actually having to manually go in and make those adjustments. So that allows you as an organization to keep your costs relatively low until you actually need to scale that server up automatically. So you can put in an auto-scale policy, for example, around the CPU utilization and say, you know, right now I only need 1 CPU for this server, but if that CPU hits 75% threshold, I want to automatically add an additional CPU every time I need it. So that keeps your costs down and allows you to only pay for what you truly consume. And then you can scale back down in an automated fashion as well. So those policies can all be created for you right here. In addition to doing what we call a vertical auto scale, where you're scaling up resources, you can also scale horizontally. So you can add an entirely new server to that pool as well. So you have a lot of flexibility on how you want to be able to scale and create more agility within your environment. Along the blueprint section here, Sergio briefly mentioned blueprints and why those are important. And I'll go into a little more detail around the blueprints. The blueprints library, you'll see we have a library that's currently set up here, and then we also have a blueprint designer. So the library is truly that. It's a public library of blueprints that have already been created. And just for definition again, a blueprint is really a pre-packaged application environment. So that could be something like a SQL database, that could be a SharePoint farm, that could be an Exchange environment. It can be as simple or complex as you want it to be. And we don't just stop, one of the differentiators of NCA Cloud is we don't just stop at that software layer. We actually build in the infrastructure component as well. So you can say, you know, this SQL environment is going to include 2 SQL databases. It's going to include SQL 2012, and I'm also going to layer in SQL always-on availability groups as well, so I can do the replication between those databases. And I can build that out, or I can use a blueprint that's already created, and I can save that environment. That, again, that includes the software and the infrastructure, the actual servers and CPUs that support that. And once I save that environment, all I have to do to deploy it is go in, select my blueprint here. You see we've got a variety of them that show up, and you can search by category here. Select my blueprint and click Go. And within minutes, you have a very complex application infrastructure environment built out for you. So you no longer have to rely on your staff to spend hours and days racking and stacking servers, deploying complex software, joining domains. You can deploy it with the click of a button, and you can deploy that as many times as you need to. So time to market is dramatically reduced. That allows you to stay competitive, and it allows you to really provide your IT staff to be innovators within your business, no longer just supporting that business. And as I've mentioned, we have a tremendous blueprint library that's already built out for you, and you'll see a variety of different types of workloads that are already created. But we can also work with you, as well as NCA, to design your own custom blueprints. So if you have custom workloads, custom applications that you need within your platform, we can build those for you if you need that assistance. Networking, I don't want to spend too much time on. It's fairly self-explanatory, but you have a tremendous amount of flexibility to go in and view networks, so create additional VLANs whenever you need those. Everything is self-service, if you haven't noticed already. So you have all the tools to manage this on your behalf. Setting up firewall policies, so being able to go and do things like open ports between data centers, open communication within data centers, so you have the ability to go up and set those custom firewall rules. As Oswaldo mentioned, easily go and deploy a variety of VPN options, so you can deploy client VPNs, site-to-site VPNs. All this within a matter of minutes. So as we quickly go into creating a server, try this on a new tab. It looks like it's being responsive there. Use our minute. Where's the original distributor? Where's the original? That's actually behind this. I can't see it on this. Yeah, it looks like it's still trying to connect. There we go. Okay. So we're back up here. All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Okay. So as I mentioned, when we go to create a server, one of the things that we can do is we can see the intuitiveness of the platform, because it allows us to really budget and see what it's going to cost us before we actually deploy that server. And the other thing that's worth mentioning within this platform is it really gives you the ability to meet the needs of IT today, because within this single platform you can do public cloud, which is really what you're looking at right here. You can do private cloud within this same platform, so you can actually integrate your own private NCA Cloud so that it's not shared, it's not a multi-tenant environment, it's your own single-tenant environment managed within the same portal. You can also utilize our platform as a service tool, which is AppFog, which gives you a very robust development environment for your developers. And you can also provision bare metal servers now, which is actually physical blade servers that are dedicated just to you, and those are provisioned within a matter of minutes. So as an IT organization, I no longer need to have all these siloed systems. I no longer need to have one provider for my physical infrastructure, another provider for my public cloud, and perhaps another for any kind of private cloud or supporting my developers. I can now bring this all in to a single portal, a single platform that gives me the needs for every aspect of my organization. So it's meeting my needs for today as well as giving me a path for the future. And it also allows me to say, you know, I want to leverage cloud services, but cloud services may not be the best answer for every application that I'm running. So that's why we give you the flexibility to say, for certain applications, maybe sensitive, compliant sensitive applications, you can deploy bare metal. And maybe that makes more sense for things like, you know, supporting PCI compliance or HIPAA compliance. But for other applications where I really want to leverage that scalability and I want to really leverage the cost, the ROI of the cloud, I can use public cloud. And that gives me the ability to do the scaling up and down, only consuming what I need when I need it. The other piece within the NCA Cloud that I need to mention is giving you the governance that you need. So many IT organizations, they feel like they don't have control over every aspect of what's going on within the IT organization. So you might have users out there, especially within the development community, that are out doing things like shadow IT, where they might be swiping a credit card on another cloud platform that you have no visibility into. You have no visibility into the type of work that's being done and to the costs that are being spent within those platforms. Because you now have a single platform for all your users, you can give your developers the account they need. You can have governance over that. So you can give them limitations on the amount of control they have, on the amount of resources they can provision, and then you can also control what they can do and how often they can do it. So if you want to put a cap on the amount of CPUs or storage that's provisioned for a specific user or account, you can do that. Yeah. So at the end of the day, just to recap, within the NCA Cloud, some of the key differentiators are giving you a single platform for all of your different needs, and really allowing your IT staff to become more of an innovator within your business, no longer just supporting your business. Also allowing you to offload applications and the management of those applications, when it doesn't meet the needs of your business, and offloading that to NCA. Things like managing a SQL database is not necessarily something that allows you to be innovative within your business. You can take that piece away from your current IT staff, allow them to be innovators, allow them to do things that are actually going to drive revenue for your business, and offload that to NCA and CenturyLink. And then giving you the flexibility and governance to be able to see what's going on within your account at any given time, meeting your needs for today as well as in the future.
Thank you, Mason. So just a few reminders to wrap up. Any questions that you have on today's session, please send them to info@ncnet.com. And again, the winners of the Amazon gift card drawing will be notified via email after the webinar.
Selected.
We have 5.
It'll be random. Random? Okay.
Oh, yeah, randomly selected. And then a recorded webinar link will be sent to all attendees after the webinar as well. So thank you everyone for joining us today. That is our webinar. Have a good day.